Hey, before me is Ed Martin. He is going to be the next Attorney General here in the great state of Missouri. And we're going to turn it from being Missouri to out of misery to Missouri again, huh, Ed?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Ed, why are you running?
Well, you know, Attorney General is a very important position, and for too long in Missouri, for the time as we talked about, Jay Nixon had 16 years and Chris Koster's had 4. Instead of having a lawyer who would be the Attorney General for all Missourians, we've had guys that are interested in politics and climbing the ladder. And so right now in America, but also especially in Missouri, we've got a real problem. The federal government is going way too far, and we're supposed to have an Attorney General who will push back Obamacare, the EPA, other intrusions. And then we also just need a lawyer who's going to respect the rule of law. You know, the fact is that our system is based on a rule of law that gives everyone equal opportunity, not equal outcome, equal opportunity. And right now we have an Attorney General, Chris Koster, who recently was audited, and they showed that he's literally selling the office to trial lawyers. And so
here's my situation. We bought a house 3 or 4 years ago, got from Pulaski Bank, and got them to sign off on it. They don't have an interest in the note anymore, and we don't have no idea where our note is now.
Yeah,
You're familiar with the mortgage electronic record. The state of Missouri settled this on what grounds, I have no idea, but $140 million came in for the people of Missouri. But Mr. Costner is taking $38 million of that and put it into general revenue.
Well, it's even worse than that. But yeah, I mean, we got a settlement. This is you put your finger on something that's really problematic. First of all, when the federal government passed laws and seeks settlements like you're talking about that are supposed to protect our interests, it turns out that they don't. I mean, we don't, as you say, we don't know where the titles of all these homes are. We don't know where the paper trail is. And now, if it's not a paper trail and it's been destroyed, that's another problem. Anyway, you point to this settlement. This is a pattern of settling cases on behalf of Missourians and then using the money for other things. Most times it's the tobacco settlement leads to money for a campaign, Nixon, Koster, or the settlements of other outside lawyers lead to campaign contributions. That's the game. The racket is settle on behalf of Missourians, huge fees for trial lawyers, plow them back into campaigns. In this case, Koster got a bunch of money, almost $40 million. That's the money that's supposed to go to the people who suffered. Instead, he asked for $3 million to renovate his office. That's what he asked for, to renovate his office. And the rest of the money he was going to allow to go to higher ed. Now, none of us are against higher ed, but if you settle a case based on the law that has to do with foreclosures, the money ought to go for the people that were hurt by foreclosures. And if you can't figure out who the individuals are, then it ought to go to the communities. I think that's safer.
Well, yeah, and they could figure out who the individuals are.
Of course they could.
But yeah, the bottom line of the matter is with him doing this, I actually called the Highway Patrol the other day to see what it would take to get him arrested for misappropriation of funds. But
I'm not sure that's criminal the same way. But anyway, yeah.
The Attorney General is the chief law enforcement officer of the state. Is that correct?
Well, actually, it's a little different. No, I mean, this is one of the misunderstandings. It's worth knowing. The Attorney General is supposed to run the law firm for the state. He is the chief legal officer.
Okay.
So there are some criminal component that has to do mostly with appeals, but also with jurisdiction of criminal stuff. But a lot of it has to do with making sure that the state's laws are abided by, that the state laws are respected. Here's an example. People are cheating our entitlement programs, whether they're welfare, unemployment, and Medicaid, and Social Security disability. Those are being cheated by individuals. We now know we've seen huge jumps in people who are stealing food stamps. Those are state law violations that the Attorney General should be involved in and should be managing and should be a part of. So it is true that we sort of describe the Attorney General as the chief law enforcement officer. What we really mean is that he is the chief legal officer running the law firm, making sure the law is respected, and making sure that the state is living up to its obligations. And I've rolled out 2 initiatives already, one for veterans. There are veterans that have legal rights that are not being respected sufficiently, and we have attorneys general in other states who are stepping up to make sure they're respected. I intend to do that when I'm in office. Another one is that we have small businesses and farms that are being stomped on by regulators. That's over the line. Government overreach, whether it's eminent domain abuse, whether it's regulatory abuse, whether it's personal liberties abuse, that's happening all the time. That's the job of the Attorney General, to make sure that we the people are respected as to the Missouri Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, and Missouri's laws.
There's a faction of people out there who contend the constitutions are not even in effect anymore. Is that true?
I think that there are fringes on all sides. That one, when people say, oh, well, the constitutions are irrelevant or too old. Look, what we know is America's experiment, 200 and some odd years, is uniquely successful. You look around the world, that what we have here, property rights, respect for personal liberty, and the ability to have contracts, the rule of law, relationships together that are then honored and respected. Why? Two reasons. Shared values, which you have to remember, we have to maintain the shared values to work at it. And number two, constitutions, and written laws that people know will be enforced and respected. That's what the attorney, if you're an attorney general, that's what your focus has to be. That's the job. And a guy like Chris Koster, the current office holder, who's a Democrat, he
was a Republican, though, right?
He was. He switched parties to run with Obama, so we're going to let him stay with Obama. But he's already said he's running for governor. He's talked about running for president. Look, we need a guy who wants to be attorney general, and that's what I want to be, and that's why I'm doing this.
And your qualifications, you were Matt Blunt's...
Yeah, first of all, I'm a graduate of St. Louis U Law School, and I've been in private practice as an attorney. I've also been in private service to my church. I work for the Catholic Church doing some pro-life work and policy work. I was Matt Blunt's chief of staff, and I also served as chairman of the Board of Elections in St. Louis, which was a very interesting position. So I've had a varied legal experience, but ultimately what people really want and what they have to look you in the eye and ask you, who are you? What are your principles? How do you understand the rule of law? And are you going to shoot straight with us? And that's a job I'm trying out for. And so I think, I'm a term limit supporter. It's very, very hard to run for office and serve, I think, because of the demands. So I want to do this for a limited time, make a difference, and then get back to my family and what we're up to.
Okay, and wife and kids, Ed? Or?
Yep, I have a wife. My wife Carol's a geriatrics physician. She works in a few days a week in a private practice helping seniors. And we have 4 wonderful children. Madeline's 8, Edward is 5, Mikey is 3, and Helen is 5.5 months.
And you're from the St. Louis area?
We live now in the St. Louis area. My wife's family is from Kansas City, so we lived in Kansas City for a period. Lived in mid-Missouri, Jefferson City for a while, and then my wife finished her residency in St. Louis. That's where we've settled now. So.
Okay, well, this is Ed Martin in Desoto.
Yeah, in DeSoto.
Today is the 27th day or 28th day of July.
I love Jefferson County. Jefferson County is one of the great counties in Missouri and America, and it's been a blast to work with so many folks.
Yeah,
down
you came
here,
real close to taking Carter.
We won Jefferson County, so if we could have Jefferson County and St. Genevieve County and change the votes up towards St. Louis, we would be sitting in the U.S. Congress. But I think the Lord's got the right plan, and I'm looking forward to being Attorney General.
All right, well, God bless you. Thanks
Thank you,
for talking to us.